There's something about a Corvette with a big number attached to its name. It doesn't just sound faster, it sounds like a warning. And this custom 2027 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray 427 takes that idea and pushes it into territory where the modern Corvette starts feeling almost sinister. But there's one detail about this build that changes the entire character of the car, and we'll come back to that. Welcome back to the Car Zone. Today, we're looking at a Corvette Stingray 427 custom concept. A machine built around the idea of taking the unmistakable C8 shape and giving it a much more aggressive, performance-focused personality. Start at the front, and the first thing you notice is the attitude. The low nose, sharp lighting signature, sculpted bodywork, and enlarged aerodynamic openings make the car look like it's already moving, even when it's standing still. The Corvette's mid-engine proportions naturally give it a dramatic stance, but this custom interpretation turns that visual drama up another level. The hood becomes a major part of the story. Instead of looking like a simple panel stretched over an engine bay, it feels like a piece of performance equipment. Strong creases pull your eyes toward the windshield, while the lower front section gives the car a planted, almost race-inspired appearance. And those headlights are important. Their narrow, technical shape gives the Corvette a modern face without losing the unmistakable identity of the C8. At night, that lighting signature would make this car instantly recognizable from a distance. But move around to the side, and things get even more interesting. This is where the mid-engine layout really shows its advantage. The cabin sits forward, the rear section looks heavily planted, and the sculpted side intake becomes one of the defining visual elements. On a custom 427-inspired build, those details can be emphasized with darker finishes, exposed aerodynamic surfaces, larger wheels, and performance-focused proportions. The wheels themselves completely change the personality of the car. A more aggressive design with low-profile performance tires gives the Corvette a wider, lower stance, while large performance brakes behind the spokes add a visual reminder that this isn't just about looking fast. And then there's the color, whether finished in a deep metallic shade, classic Corvette-inspired red, or an almost sinister black, the bodywork reacts beautifully to light. Sharp surfaces catch highlights while the recessed areas disappear into shadow. That contrast is what makes a custom Corvette look expensive rather than simply modified. Now, here's where the name 427 needs a little clarification. The 2027 Corvette Stingray 427 should not be treated as an officially confirmed production model unless Chevrolet itself announces those specifications. This particular vehicle is best understood as a custom or concept interpretation inspired by the legendary 427 name and the modern C8 Stingray. So any exact horsepower, acceleration, top speed, or production claims you may see attached to a custom version should be treated carefully. And honestly, that uncertainty makes the concept even more interesting. Because the 427 name carries serious Corvette history. It immediately brings to mind big displacement American performance, brutal acceleration, and an era when horsepower numbers could completely change a car's reputation. Putting that badge beside the modern C8 creates a fascinating question. What would happen if that old-school Corvette attitude was combined with today's mid-engine architecture? That's the fantasy behind this custom build. Inside, the modern Corvette remains focused on the driver. The cockpit wraps around the person behind the wheel, with a performance-oriented seating position, digital instrumentation, a compact steering wheel, and a center console that gives the cabin a distinctly driver-focused feel. But a custom version could take that atmosphere much further. Darker materials, contrast stitching, carbon fiber style trim, performance seats, and subtle 427 references throughout the cabin. And that's important, because the best custom cars don't just change the outside. They create a personality. The exterior says aggressive, the interior says focused. And when you imagine the engine coming alive behind the driver, the whole character of the Corvette suddenly makes sense. The C8 Stingray already uses a mid-mounted V8 layout, which completely changed the traditional Corvette formula. Instead of putting the engine in front of the cabin like generations of Corvettes before it, the C8 places the powertrain behind the driver, improving the car's proportions and helping create the unmistakable supercar-like silhouette. That's why this 427-inspired concept is so compelling. It combines two different Corvette philosophies: the raw emotional identity associated with the legendary 427 name and the modern engineering philosophy of the mid-engine C8. And from the rear, that combination becomes impossible to ignore. The wide rear bodywork, sharp taillight signature, central exhaust arrangement, diffuser, vents and low stance give the car an almost exotic appearance. A custom spoiler or more aggressive aerodynamic package could make the rear look even more purposeful, without destroying the original Corvette design language. But perhaps the most satisfying part is that this car doesn't need to pretend to be something else. It doesn't need a European badge. It doesn't need to copy a supercar. It has its own identity. That's what the Corvette has always done best. Take American performance and give it a personality that people recognize instantly. And now we can answer the question from the beginning. The most interesting thing about this 2027 Corvette Stingray 427 Custom isn't a number on a specification sheet. It's the idea behind it. The 427 name represents one of the most aggressive chapters in Corvette history, while the C8 represents one of the biggest engineering transformations the Corvette has ever made. Put those two ideas together, and you get a machine that feels like a bridge between old-school American muscle and modern supercar design. That's what makes this custom Corvette so fascinating. It isn't simply imagining a faster Stingray. It's imagining what happens when Corvette history meets the future. And if Chevrolet ever decided to give the 427 name a truly modern C8 interpretation, this is exactly the kind of machine that could make Corvette fans stop scrolling and take a second look. So, what do you think? Should Chevrolet actually bring back the 427 spirit in a modern Corvette? Or should the Stingray continue moving completely into the future? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy cars where history, performance, and wild custom design come together, subscribe to the Car Zone because there's a lot more waiting in the garage.